Hey folks, Quill18 here, and welcome to a tutorial for Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup. So the way this tutorial is going to run is I've got Briarstone over here. Make sure to check out his channel. He likes to play roguelike games, but he's mostly played sort of the faster-paced roguelike games so far. You've modded things like Skyrim to be roguelike. Mm-hmm. We've played some Binding of Isaac. Yep. You're going to play some Rogue Legacy. That sort of thing.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah. So, but this is going to be a proper roguelike. This is Dungeon Crawl. It's my favorite one. And so this tutorial, we're going to get you to play.
Yep.
While I tell you exactly what to do.
Let's see how it goes.
Well, I guarantee you it's gonna result in death pretty quickly.
Alright, it's roguelike, that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I beat the game, a few times at this point, although only with melee-type characters. I haven't really done it with spellcasters yet, so at some point I'll have to figure it out. But so, normally if you were a new player, you'd probably want to start with the tutorial, and then after completing the tutorial, you'd want to start with the hints mode. But we're going to go right into the main Dungeon Crawl mode at the very top.
Okay, so just Dungeon Crawl.
Dungeon Crawl. So there's many, many different races to choose from.
Okay.
Now, if you want, you can also flip it around. If you hit spacebar, you can also choose a class first. So you can go back and forth. You can either choose your race first or your class
Death Knight.
First.
Merfolk.
All right.
It sounded good. I don't know.
What could possibly go wrong?
Everything now.
I was going to suggest that as a first run-through...
Are you going to back up?
No, it's fine.
How do you back up?
From here,
yeah.
Backspace, return to character menu.
Okay. Sure.
You know, it may have been totally fine. I was going to say the easiest thing to start with, generally speaking, is probably something like a Minotaur fighter or Berserker, because Minotaurs have a lot of hit points. They tend to be pretty good in straight-up
I remember seeing
combat.
some of your videos there with the Minotaur fighter specifically. Those were some of the longest lived for certain.
Yeah, they're pretty easy. Troll monks are actually surprisingly good. Because they have claws, so they hand-to-hand. They have a lot of hit points and regeneration and different things like that, too.
Regen, I can imagine.
The half-orcs, or rather the hill-orcs, do pretty good melee-type people, but a hill-orc priest is actually really, really interesting. Because they can actually sort of convert people, or convert other orcs as they go, and basically turns into Orc Jesus. The huge crowd of followers around them.
I think I want to be Orc Jesus now.
Okay, and in terms of spellcasters, the Deep Elf Fire Elementalists are considered to be one of the strongest spellcasters, although the Wizards are also a good combination.
Wow. Venom Mage.
Yeah, Venom Mages are actually pretty good against everything that's living, because poison is pretty damn potent. Later on you can get something called the Venom Bolt that also kind of does damage against things that are immune to Venom-type things as well. But what I was still thinking that for the first run-through you may want to stick with just a melee-type person. That's probably the first thing as like an introduction. I would suggest going with a Berserker, probably a Minotaur, just to get started.
Berserker!
And you see here on this screen how some things are grayed out and some things are brighter.
Yeah.
So the brighter things are recommended combinations. You chose Berserker, so the ones that are dimmed out are the ones that are not recommended to be Berserkers. Or if you picked a race first, then when you were on the class screen, it would just suggest classes that would be appropriate fits based on your race.
Okay. Okay. So, you said Ogre.
No, I did not. I said Minotaur.
Minotaur. I don't see a Minotaur. Where's
just
that?
Down one more.
Oh, Minotaur.
So the difference between the two, and you can always, if you want to, you could hit the question mark and different things, or check the wiki. Actually, just check the wiki to find the details about each race. The reason, like an ogre, is certainly very strong, but I believe they level up very slowly, and they don't necessarily have all the same skill aptitudes. Minotaurs are convenient in that they level up relatively quickly. They have great aptitudes for relevant skills, and they can headbutt people, which is pretty fun.
I like headbutting.
They can't wear helmets, though. They can still wear caps.
It's okay.
Or hats, but not helmets.
They have a skull cap.
Yeah, exactly. You just need, like,
hard enough head, you're good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so Minotaur. What was that? Berserker. Minotaur Berserker.
Yeah, at least for the first playthrough. Now, the choice weapon is a lot more sort of open and debatable, especially with this. The spear is interesting because it has reach.
Yeah.
Not range, but reach, yeah. Mace. The maces tend to be pretty good as a sort of one-hander and shield combination.
Sure.
And the hand axe tends to, there's a really good set of two-handed hand axes for big damage. Some of these weapons also have certain special characteristics. Like, for example, like a long spear does have reach. The hand axes can also cleave and do extra splash damage, for example. Like they'll hit someone adjacent to your main target.
Really? Oh, like axe. Okay, yeah, just
Yeah.
swinging like an axe. All those spears, I'm pretty sure, are going to be solely solo target.
Yes. I really like the spear when I'm playing the Hill Orc Priest because you have such an army around you. You're often able to reach past your own guy to hit someone beyond.
That's pretty different.
I find when I'm playing a straight up melee class, I often don't get the benefit of the spear because people are going to close right up in your face anyway. So I tend to go either mace or hand axe as the Minotaur. Either one is fine. I think the axe route is considered to be somewhat more powerful.
Okay.
But it really varies. You could pick the short sword and be totally fine too. But it wouldn't.
Berserker. I'm trying to think. Berserker.
Yeah, it's Berserker, right?
Sounds like a mace. Sounds like you want to like spread some blood around.
Okay.
Honestly.
Just smash some people in the head.
Yeah.
All right.
And headbutt them after they're smashing the head.
So the very most important first thing to ever do when you start a game of Dungeon Crawl,
Get this scroll.
yeah, possibly, but no, is to hit the M key on your keyboard.
M key.
M. This is your skill training screen. Now, by default, it's got a variety of skills selected that seem relatively appropriate. It's also set on auto mode. You can see at the bottom of the screen it says auto in bright white letters.
Yeah.
In that, as you do stuff, as you use skills, it will automatically sort of allocate experience points into skills for you. This is almost universally considered to be a bad thing. Now, it's fine when you're just starting out and you want a simple experience, you don't want to think too much. I mean, it won't be horrible, right? Because it'll be giving you XP to skills you're actively using.
Right.
But generally speaking, you're going to want to direct things more. So yeah, generally you switch it to manual.
Sure. I like having more control.
Yeah, and the only difference that manual does is that the distribution of skills will be exactly divided. So you have 3 or 4 skills enabled right now. Fighting, maces and flails, armor and dodging.
Right.
And your XP is being divided 25% into each one. You can see the percentage there under the training column. So it means you can sort of determine a little bit more accurately where everything goes. That being said, usually you don't want to be training multiple skills at once. You actually often want to be training only one skill at a time and focusing on that.
Min-maxing?
Yeah, min-max all the things, right?
All the things.
That's exactly how it works. So in practice, I suppose there's not as much difference between auto and manual, because even in auto, you turn skills on and off. And if you're just training one skill, it's going to get 100% no matter what. As a melee character, what you basically tend to do is turn off all skills except your primary attack, your maces and flail, in this particular case.
So turn that off?
No.
Said? No, don't. Turn off everything
Turn
but
off
that.
everything off, exactly.
So
Now, you'll see when you click once, it goes to a star.
Yeah, I saw that.
Like a focus, an experience focus. You can like click on armor once,
Yep.
and you can see the percentages change where it's getting 50% of the XP,
Wow.
and everything else 25%.
Sure.
This, again, is one of those things I don't tend to use very often. In fact, my basic configuration file, I turn off that feature. I don't find it useful.
Okay.
So you just have to keep clicking to turn everything off.
So then it gets 100%, and there we go.
The reason you do that is because your weapon skill, basically, the primary thing that does is affect the speed of your swings. The better your skill, the faster your swings. And each weapon, based on how fast of a weapon it is, has a certain, like a minimum possible speed you can reach, like the absolute fastest this weapon can be. And the general accepted strategy for melee characters is to reach that min speed as quickly as possible. So you tend to turn on only your weapon skill and nothing else.
But things do max out eventually, though.
Yes. Now, going past that, you still get certain other benefits, but the big thing is reaching that minimum swing speed, and it helps a lot. And even if you don't literally reach the minimum, improving your swing speed is going to be worth a tremendous amount. So this is definitely the way to go starting out. That's one of the other reasons it's so advantageous to being a Minotaur, because Minotaurs have quite a lot of hit points. So the fighting skill, for example, gives you extra HP. Armor, doesn't exactly work necessarily the way you'd expect. It doesn't necessarily make your armor better, but it still helps you wear bigger armor. And dodging does exactly what you think it would do, let you dodge things.
Sure.
So as a Minotaur, you can get away with keeping those off for a little bit longer and still being quite tough.
Okay.
So now you can escape out of the screen.
All right. Bar.
All right, so
No.
that is like the least intuitive part done. Now it's just like moving around and stuff. Now we're playing the tiles version of this. There's also a console version, which is just plain text and doesn't tend to have mouse support. I like to play in the tiles version because I think it's handy. I think the mouse support is extremely handy. With the mouse, you can click anywhere and you can move there. You can also, and I generally use the number pad to move around. Up, down, left, right, and then diagonally. But more importantly than that, this has a lot of automatic features. For example, hit the O key right now.
Wow. Whoa.
So the O key is your auto exploration key. You hit it, your guy will wander, explore the fog of war. When he finds something, it will stop automatically. Also, if there are items that are worth picking up, for example, scrolls and potions, which anything with that green border around it, and you saw that that scroll had sort of a green border around it,
Right.
it will automatically pick it up for you. It will go there and pick it up.
Where is it? Oh, there it is.
So that's a scroll. So this scroll is... Yes. So a classic roguelike trait is that things like scrolls and potions are not identified at the start.
That's awesome.
And they're also randomized. So fum fi hum this time could be enchant weapon, and the next time you play, you might find another scroll labeled this, and it'll be something completely different, something that'll just blow up in your hands, for example. So identifying these things becomes a pretty important thing going on. Now,
Wheel or woe?
don't read it quite yet. The reason is, and you could, generally speaking, eventually you have to read the scrolls to identify them, basically.
Yeah.
But right now, if you read them, there's a good chance that it wouldn't necessarily be helpful. A lot of scrolls only take effect, and therefore only reveal their effects when you have stuff on you. For example, you'll only reveal scrolls of cursed jewelry if you're wearing jewelry. And if it happens to be an identify scroll, and right now you have nothing in your inventory that's unidentified, it's not going to be very useful. So generally, I wait until I've got a handful of scrolls.
Yeah, some things.
And then maybe a few pieces of gear.
Sure.
So, and that tends to happen like maybe on the 3rd or 4th level.
What if you read it and it says you win?
Well, then it's game over. Congratulations. All right, so at this point in the game, just hit O again and let's keep exploring.
No.
Oh, there's actually that's a cloak over there.
It's like hit O and then go to it?
No, because it's not highlighted in green. Because this is one thing. You almost always want to pick up scrolls. So
Sure.
it assumes you want to pick up scrolls all the time.
Okay.
But cloaks, who knows, you know? In this case, you definitely want the cloak. So you want to move over there, and clicking on it is definitely fine.
Okay, I was just reading it down here. What is?
Actually, if you right-click on it, you'll get a full description. It comes with...
Oh, Belle, my wife, why dost thou flight? Now is now, and then was then. Seek now all the world throughout. Thou kens not clowns from gentlemen. They're clad in black, green, yellow, and blue, so far above their own degree. Once in my life, I'll take a view, for I'll have a new cloak about me.
So lots of items have, various fluff.
I like
about
that
them.
fluff. I like fluff.
It's
Fluff
cool.
Fluff is fluffy.
So wearing the cloak would give you an extra armor point,
Sure.
which is very good.
What did I do?
I think
I hit the wrong key.
You hit something. I'm not
I
sure.
think I hit D.
Oh, you hit D. It was asking if you wanted to drop something.
Oh, okay.
So you can move over to the cloak. Now, when you're in the cloak, if you're doing the mouse mode, you can click on it down here, and that will pick it up. Also, if you're doing keyboardy stuff, the comma key picks things up.
The comma key.
And then, you can left click to wear it. No, that's a right click.
No, sorry. Left and right.
Yeah. So you can normal click to wear it. There you go.
So it's on.
Now you're equipped with the cloak, and your armor has improved by 1 point.
That's nifty enough.
And there's a pair. You can see it's outlined in green, so if you hit
O,
O, it'll automatically pick it up, and then continue on exploring too.
Sure.
Now, you have...
I can eat it.
No.
If I wanted to.
Well, yes, you can, actually. Hold on. You can. Prepared food, you can basically eat anytime you're not absolutely full. Generally speaking, you will not be doing that, and the reason is, when you get hungry, you can butcher corpses and eat them. So you tend to fuel yourself mostly on that, as opposed to what's called permafood, which is this sort of thing: bread, pears, meat, like actual, cooked, prepared food rations. Those last forever, so you generally just hoard them until you're in a situation where you're starving. So you usually don't want to do that. Also, food does not heal you. It's just you have hunger.
Okay.
If you don't eat, you'll eventually die.
That makes sense.
So while exploring, you accidentally stumbled on a dart trap, which is why you took damage. So you got
Oh,
15
because I noticed that. I didn't realize what it... Or it's going to be down here, isn't it? Where's it going to say? A dart shoots out and hits you. Ah.
And in the top right corner of your screen, you can see your character sheet. You're at 15 of 19 health.
Sure.
So the way you get your health back, generally speaking, is just by resting.
Okay. And that's, what, R or something?
No, actually, it's... well, there's a few different ways to do it. Usually, you're moving with the numpad.
Sure.
So the 5 key actually rests. If you tap it, it'll rest 1 turn. You click it, and you can see actually the time change. There you go. So from 32, 33. Now, that's quite boring. So if you hit Shift and then 5, it'll rest for... I have to turn numlock on. Try it again. There we go. If you hit Shift 5, what it will do, it will rest for up to 100 turns, but it will stop when your health gets to max.
Sure.
Or if you have magic, if you've used that mana, it'll stop when either your mana or your magic either your health or your mana becomes maxed, or you lose a condition, or you spot an enemy, anything like that. It's a great tool. So
Cool.
there's another scroll. So keep exploring, and we'll see
Take
about
that.
clearing this level as quickly as possible.
Rock wall, dart. I could probably pick that up if I wanted to.
Yeah, you'd have to step on the trap again. Technically, when we were on the trap, we could have picked it up at that time, but
But he stepped off
yeah.
because I.
Well, because I didn't mention it. You'll probably be able to find some more throwing items pretty quickly.
That's fine.
Non-magical darts like
Oh,
that.
hit the wrong button again.
Okay, so you are now Berserk.
Oh.
The reason that is...
Oh, whoops.
So you're a Berserker. And what that means is you start with an ability to go Berserk.
Okay.
Now, if you ever hit the A key allows you to choose an ability that you have. And it so happens that Berserk is your first ability, so it's got the A keys as the sort of in the list. So if you go A, you go Berserk as a Berserker. So that's what's happening right now. I suggest you just sit here and tap 5 a few times until the Berserk wears away, or you can do the Shift 5. Alright.
Okay.
So, Berserk is awesome.
You were exhausted.
Okay? This is the reason that Berserker is one of the best classes to start off with as noob. While you're Berserk, you will crush face. But
I like that.
while you're Berserk, you can't do certain things like cast spells, drink potions, use certain abilities, that sort of thing. And when you finish, you're slowed and exhausted. So you're kind of in a somewhat vulnerable state.
Okay.
So the issue is, you need to when you use Berserk, you have to be sure that it's going to make the difference.
Which I did not just do.
And right now, it's fine. Technically, it also uses a little bit of food, I believe, but it's not the end of the world at this point. So just be careful with that. Yeah, if you feel the urge of using WASD to move around,
Which I do.
don't.
Okay.
Or you're gonna wield, activate an ability. S, I'm not sure. D drop thing.
Yeah, I did that already. Okay, sure. I'm just gonna go this way.
Okay.
Oh, got some money.
Gold, and it auto picks it up.
What happens if you fall in that?
It'll drop you down 1 level.
Is it a good thing or a bad thing? Let's just
Well,
keep
dropping a level is often not the way you want to do it.
because it'll
like-
hurt.
Yeah. And you might not have an easy way to get back up.
Oh,
So, okay.
Giant
And
cockroach.
again, you're always encouraged generally to explore with the O key,
Sure.
but the mouse works fine. So, cockroach.
Oops,
So you've got a description of it.
Looks easy. It's susceptible to poison. It is fast. It is very small. I thought I said it was giant.
Well, a giant cockroach is only still going to be so big.
Well,
This
I
is
guess.
come on. This isn't the movies. So to engage in a roguelike, generally speaking, you just walk into it, and that will melee.
Okay.
Now they're just like the O.
Oh, he's
key.
coming.
Yep. He's moving forward. In fact, if you tap the 5 key, he would probably just continue to walk towards you. So you tap it once.
I'm gonna back up.
Okay,
There
now,
we go.
now he's right in front of you. Now you can engage him either by clicking him or by walking into him with the numpad.
There you go. Click him.
There you go. You just
Splooge.
splashed him in 1 shot, and that's pretty good.
I'm hungry.
You're not hungry yet, but
No, I'm just saying.
move on to the cockroach.
All right, let's do it.
All right, so there you're now on the cockroach corpse, and in the bottom right corner you see that little, I don't know, kind of a green stomachy icon.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, meat like this occasionally causes nausea. But it's generally edible. In fact, you're going to be sustaining yourself on this sort of thing quite often. So, to butcher this meat, and we will do this now, hit the C key to chop up this corpse. You can also do it with the mouse by, I think it was shift left click down there or something like that. It said in the pop-up. Then you have a chunk of giant cockroach
Oh,
flesh.
delicious.
You can't eat it right now because
And
raw
nutritious.
flesh is a little unappetizing, especially when it comes from a cockroach.
Yeah.
So it's not until you get actually hungry will you be able to eat it.
Okay. Hungry.
Yeah, hungry.
Massive hungry. Probably. Oh, another
Now,
one.
before you click anything else, I'll teach
Sure.
you the other way to attack. If you hit the tab key, the tab is your
Tab.
auto attack key. So every time you tap it, first of all, you'll move towards the closest enemy automatically, and once you get to it, you will sit there and automatically just, you'll melee. Every time you hit tab, you will hit them once. Now, there's always a risk. If you're like me, you're going to end up like holding tab down in combat because you're lazy, and that tends to get you killed, so don't do that. But other than that, it's really handy. And in fact, if you had a ranged weapon equipped, you could hit Shift Tab, and it would just range attack them. You can go Shift Tab, Shift Tab, Shift Tab, and then when they finally close in, then you could just hit Tab and finish them off in range. Took a little bit of damage from the Goblin, but you should be totally okay.
All right.
So the first level can always be a little sketchy, so it looks like Shift left click will chop up the Goblin.
Shift left click.
Yeah.
Oh,
There we go.
there we go.
and you probably want to rest before you continue on exploring. Generally, you always want to rest to full health before you venture forth, because you don't want to run into an enemy
half health.
Exactly.
Well, actually, not even hurt, really. That sounds like a bad idea.
You want every advantage you can get, especially at level 1, because you're so damn squishy.
What's that? Smoky black potion.
You want to pick that stuff up. You also notice there was a staircase back there. We're definitely going to clear the whole floor before we go down a level.
Oh, kobold.
So kobolds are pretty easy. They do tend to... there's no target in view. It's showing you where it was. You don't want to run away from the kobold. They actually are often loaded with ranged attacks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was just trying to get him down this way, but... Yeah.
Oh, well, instead of moving away, just hit 5 to stand in place. And there we go. And now you can just beat on him.
Wow, that was easy.
Yeah.
Sword.
Well, again,
Get in my pocket.
you actually use the headbutt attack there as well.
Where does it say that?
If you move your mouse off of the item, so you're not looking at it anymore. So, when you have horns, there's a chance when you are attacked that you will just headbutt in retaliation. It takes no time at all. It's like a free counterattack. That's one of the other reasons that the Minotaur is so good.
It says, I hit the kobold, but do no damage. Then I headbutt him.
Yeah, and you kill him.
And it kills him with the headbutt.
Yes. Now,
that's sketchy.
I have noticed that you've picked up the short sword.
Yes.
So why did you pick up the short sword?
Because I figure I could... It's a thing. It's an item. You pick it up. I don't know.
It's legit. No, see, that the reason I asked it like that is because, of course, you're playing an RPG. You're going to pick up all the items you run into, right?
Exactly.
Dungeon Crawl is about trying to eliminate as much tedium as possible. That's why there's an auto-explore key. That's why there's an auto-combat key. One of the other things they do to remove tedium, there is literally no way to sell items in this game. If you find an item that is not useful to you, you leave it alone. Because there's no point in carrying it. And there's definitely no point for you to carry a non-magical short sword. Short swords are not your thing.
So I'll just drop it.
That's right, you can do that.
How do you do that?
So you toggled it to drop it, because you can drop multiple items on the screen.
Sure.
Now you just hit enter.
Oh, enter.
The other thing you can do is, I believe, mouse over anything in your inventory until the tooltip shows up.
Oh, I see. Like that.
And if you shift left-click something,
then it'll drop it
it'll
automatically.
just drop it.
Excellent.
Which is usually the way I do it. So I do a lot of stuff with the keyboard, but inventory manipulation I almost do with the mouse.
It's a giant newt.
It's just my thing. There's no reason, like, not...
What the hell?
I think it just moved south into the fog of war, and there's a pile of stones there. That's if you have a sling. Those are sling bullets.
Take that, newt.
There you go.
Sir
you
Isaac Newt.
One of the things, if you become proficient in all the keyboard shortcuts, you never have to use the mouse at all. In fact, I never use the mouse unless I'm doing, like, specifically I want to go right over there or something like that. Because again, with the O key, with the numpad, with the tab key, you can get a heck of a lot done. Alright, be careful.
Ooze.
If you continue to wander forward here, it's possible there's more enemies in the fog of war.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they have spotted you. Well, the ooze is a question mark, so he hasn't quite become aware of you exactly, but the kobold definitely has. What you want to do here is back into the corridor.
Into here?
Yeah, just back up and funnel anyone in there. So first of all, you don't want to aggro more opponents. And if you're going to fight multiple people, you want to fight in the corridor like this so that you fight them one at a time. There you go.
Splidge. Now here comes the ooze.
Great stuff. You've now reached level 2. Yeah, it's paused because it's got the little more command. You can just hit enter or potentially any key to skip past it. There we go.
Alright. What are we on?
You have a kobold corpse. Now, you'll notice the kobold corpse has a little green droplet in the bottom right corner.
Yeah, poison.
It is poisonous corpse. So you could chop this up, but there'd be no point because you wouldn't be able to eat the chunks. And in fact, the chunk of kobold meat wouldn't even get picked up automatically.
Sure.
Because the game is aware that it's no good. You'll notice at this point, the 3 chunks that you have in your inventory right now are rotting. They are no longer edible. Eventually, they will just dissolve completely. Also, the game settings by default, if you were to pick something up right now and you would be overburdened, it will automatically drop the chunks to make room for the inventory. So it's pretty smart. So generally speaking, you don't have to manually drop chunks. They will go away on their own. So again, the game is a lot about trying to get rid of the tedium. Less inventory management, less picking up all the things. So the needles are used if you ever want to use a blowgun, which I don't usually, but some people like.
Robe. Dart trap.
Now, darts don't do a whole lot of damage. You can easily walk through that. If it even hits you, yeah, it's, it's about a flesh wound.
It's just a flesh wound. Alright. I'm gonna hang out here till you get over here. Oh.
I don't
Oh,
think
diagonal attacks. Okay, sure.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, and I don't think you were attacking him. You just killed him with your headbutt again. Now, if you go back to the darts there, because there's actually a stack of goods there. Because it's just the body and the darts, but you could pick up the darts
For
throwing.
throwing darts?
Yeah, it's good for these situations when you're waiting for someone to come at you because you're in a nice safe location. You may as well throw stuff at them.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah, well, you're picking up the darts. So, like this hobgoblin, because you don't know what's behind him, right? It may have been wiser to just throw darts at him and let him come at you. Now, you can attack him by clicking on him as well. If you prefer to use the mouse, that's totally fine.
Oh, clubbage.
So, a club would be a downgrade from your mace.
Yeah, but can I dual wield? No.
No, I don't believe there's any dual wielding in this game, actually. I might be wrong, but I don't think I am.
Okay. We won't worry about it then. Snail-covered altar of Sharajrizbishus.
Yeah, so there are gods in this game, and you can choose to worship a god. Now, as is, you already have a god. You have a god Trog.
I like Trog.
He's the god of berserkers. In fact, your power to berserk, none of the races, like, you don't, that's not entirely true, but you don't have a built-in ability to berserk. In fact, classes have nothing built in. Classes are nothing but a few starting stats, and that's it. See, this is a good example of just back around the corner, just like right there to break line of sight, and then kill the jackals without getting beat up too bad. Oh, there's even more of them. You know what this is a good time?
What?
Berserk. You should be fine.
Berserker.
All right,
Ow.
now go in there and beat them up.
Boom, baby. Boom. Uh-oh.
See, now you're slow and exhausted. It's a little bit dangerous, but you should be fine.
Woo-hoo.
All right.
Win.
Now, again, as much as possible, I'm going to encourage, use the O key. Because the O key will be very intelligent. It will automatically go to piles of goods that are sitting around that, you know, you would need to take a look at. It'll automatically pick up things. Although, stop. You want to, A, you want to heal. B, you're very hungry right now, so you actually want to eat.
Eat some...
You want to chop up that jackal. And then eat it.
Okay. Wow.
So, you can eat
Jackal.
it by clicking on it. You can always hit the E key as well. Oh, you got interrupted. There's a bat.
Alright, bat.
Bats are very annoying. They're jumpy. Okay, you're no longer hungry, but you definitely need to heal.
Okay.
Rest.
Oh, yes. That's how you do it. I'm hungry again.
And you've got some more meat. Yeah, the chunks of meat often are not very nutritious, but they work okay.
What's over here? What's on here? Kobold corpse. Poisonous meat. Dagger. Silver dart. Pick it up. What's over here? Chop it.
There you go.
What do we get?
Chunks of hobgoblin meat.
Alright.
Very nummy.
Should be good. Right?
Yep.
This
Now,
is like I got
technically-
nausea.
Yeah, one of them gave you nausea. That means you won't have, you won't be able to eat for a little while, but other than that, it's pretty much okay.
Exploding sling bullets.
Hey, pretty cool.
Naga barding.
So Naga is one of the races you can play, and they can't wear normal armor, but they can wear barding. And which means that every time you don't play a Naga, you see barding.
Whoa.
And anytime you play a Naga, you never find any.
Oh, he can shoot me from that.
Yeah, you probably have to. You could close the door. Hit Shift C. Actually, there's probably a way to do it with the mouse too.
Bam.
There, now just wait. There you go. Now go and smack him.
Alright, so I'll pop over and give him a what for.
There you go. He dropped the dart too. You can pick that up.
Come on.
One nice thing about the game: any darts that you throw will automatically be flagged as like green for auto pickup. So after you finish a combat where you've thrown a bunch of stuff, then and then you hit O to auto explore, it'll go around and pick up all your darts for you.
That's fine.
Same thing with other missile weapons.
Alright. Ooh. A goblin comes into view. What are we gonna do? I know what I'm gonna do.
Run up to it and smack it.
No, oh, shit.
That's alright. Giant Might. I think it's slightly poisonous, but you're okay. Maces and flails are now level 5. Remember, you can throw darts at people. When you've got these this distance, right?
Not now,
Just hit
though.
F and then...
Bam. Oh.
You can also hit F and then just enter to lock it in. But
Oh,
you did a
really?
little bit of damage to it with its dart. With your dart. You're now level 3.
Enter, go forward.
Ah, you get a choice. You can increase one of your stats.
Strength, intelligence, or dex. I'm thinking strength, actually. The
Well-
whole min-maxing thing? Am I doing this right? I don't know.
Yeah, well, generally speaking, yes. However, there are certain things in this game that can drain one of your stats, or drain your stats, and can kill you that way. So a lot of people have a rule of thumb that they want at least like 7 or 8 of a stat at a minimum. So at this point, some people would raise their intelligence. On the other hand, you know, yeah, and that's probably okay. Yeah, having a higher strength isn't really going to do much for like your attack damage or anything. It's mostly going to enable you to wear heavier armors. You won't run into those for a little while, so you've got some margin there. Really, you can
Dex
go
would
either
be
way.
dodge, right?
Yeah, as a big, burly, strength-based guy, you're going to be trying to wear the heaviest possible armor you can.
Yeah.
So you're not going to get a whole lot of application out of dexterity.
Okay, so maybe intelligence. All right, let's go intel. Intel? Intel.
That is fine. And that's more of a future-proofing thing.
Ah, feel clever.
Yeah, and you actually have 1 mana now, technically. That being said, Trog hates spellcasters. He will disown you if you like even try to read a book.
What was that? I'm hungry. I'll eat that.
Well, that one's the rotting one, so you won't want to eat that. Plus, you have nausea, so you don't feel like eating it.
Oh, this
now
is
anyway.
rotting. Oh my god. How do we get rid of that? That's it's
Shift click.
Click. All right.
And again, you will auto drop those chunks, so you really don't have to spend that much attention on them. It will manage itself.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's get whatever.
It automatically picked up the dart because it was in green. Oh, and you just automatically picked up a ring.
Let's find out what this ring is. Should
Okay.
I wear it?
Sure, what could possibly go wrong?
Rings, eh? I don't like it when you say that.
Yeah. So here's
kinda
the
freak
thing.
me out, just-
There's a chance that it'll be a cursed ring.
True.
And then at that point, what you would do is read all your scrolls and hope that one of them is a scroll of remove curse. So if you were kind of concerned, you could wait until you had a few more scrolls.
Nah.
But yeah, I usually just put them on right away.
What's gonna happen?
So this is a ring of fire. So this gives you a better ability to cast fire-based spells, gives you resistance to fire, but makes you vulnerable to cold. So
Can I sing
the ability
Johnny
to
Cash?
Ring of Fire? Nice. So the ability to better cast fire spells is not going to be relevant to you.
Okay.
But the ability to sort of selectively get more fire resistance might be handy. On the other hand, you're currently vulnerable to cold. In fact, this might be a good time to show you. If you do the Shift 5 for the percentage key,
Shift 5?
yeah, just
Fine.
percentage. These are your stats. So right now, you have a bonus to your fire resistance, but you have a malus to your cold resistance. Plus, you have other stats.
That's cool.
So
Alright,
what I would do with the ring is you could keep it in your inventory, and then if you run into someone who's using fire, put it
then
on.
put it on.
I
Sure.
usually don't bother with the rings of fire or rings of ice. There are actual rings of fire resistance, for example, that just give you fire resistance and no penalty. And so those are a lot more important. But, you know, that's definitely something you can do. If you're really trying to min-max every advantage, you can hold on to them for now. I mean, you could wear it until someone hits you with cold. I just tend to forget that I'm wearing it, and then I get slaughtered by something with cold damage. So now you're very hungry, which means you're technically allowed to eat. I would not eat one of the ones that can make you sick, because when you're nauseous and you eat something that's contaminated like that, it can actually give you sickness, which can hurt your stats.
Does that say contaminated?
Uh,
Oh, it is contaminated.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I might eat a pear at this point.
Bah.
Oh. Oh, you still can't eat it, right, until you're starving. So it's fine. You're going to have to put up with it for now. There you go. And now you can eat, because your nausea went away, so you can eat that piece of meat.
This one?
Yeah,
Bah.
you're fine. Good.
And I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Now, some races tolerate raw meat better than others. And others even prefer rotting flesh. For example, zombies.
Done exploring.
Yeah. Good. So you're done exploring, so now you want to go to a downstairs. Now, what you could do is you could wander until you're like, oh, where were those downstairs?
Oh, there's one over here.
Okay, that is one way. I'm going to show you another trick.
Ah.
Hit Shift X.
Shift X.
Now, if you wander around, you can actually move your view around. This gives you a great ability to sort of scan around the level and find things. But not only that, but you can type in symbols for stuff. So if you do like the lesser than sign with the shift and the period,
Sure.
you can see that's the symbol for the downward stare. It'll automatically give you the closest one. If you hit that button again, so if you do shift period again, it'll show you another one, and another one, and another one. And then back to the first one. Every floor has 3 downstairs. One of the ones that you saw was in red, and that's actually a trapdoor leading down, which is kind of a one-way stair. So it's a good way to find all the stairs going down. The fact that the stair has little asterisks on it means you haven't explored this stair yet.
Okay.
But now if you hit enter, your dude will automatically walk over there.
We're going to explore the downstairs.
Going to level 2.
Wink.
I think we're going to put a cut in this video, and we'll be back with part 2 in a second. See you, folks.